Switching to Geico is a good idea, especially when you consider everything.
First off, Geico makes it easy to switch. They have licensed agents available 24/7 online or over the phone.
But if it's so easy, you might start thinking everything is easy, even big wave surfing. And it's not. It's actually quite difficult.
Well, if you switch to Geico, you could save hundreds on car insurance. And you could keep saving by bundling your motorcycle, boat, and RV, plus your home or renter's insurance.
But saving money might lead you to make some questionable purchases, like a 20-foot feather boa. And do you know how hard it is to clean a 20-foot feather boa?
Well, they do have an industry-leading mobile app you can use to pay your bill, file and manage a claim, or add a new driver.
But when life gets a little easier, it makes you too confident, and you start calling everyone Ace. And you're better than that.
Well, Geico has a 97% customer satisfaction rating and has been saving people money for 85 years. It's hard to beat that.
But you're right.
Switch to Geico. It's obviously a good idea.
When it comes to working at Geico, our best advocates are our employees, like Maxine. But since she is so focused on growing her career, we hired an actor to read her story.
At Geico, I love mentoring the new associates to help them make this a career and not just a job.
And with new opportunities and job stability, Geico has been helping people grow their careers for over 75 years. The only downside, she still hasn't met the gecko. Where are you, fella?
Ready to start your career, Fredericksburg? We're hiring claim sales and service agents. Apply online today at geico.job/Fredericksburg.
Welcome, readers. Today on Book Chat, I am sharing part 2 of my minimalist book nerd journey. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, I'm your host, Tamara Ford, and welcome to Book Chat here on the Shelf Addiction Podcast. Participate in this discussion by joining the Facebook group Shelf Addiction Official. I hope to hear your thoughts on today's topic. You can always find me on Twitter and Instagram. The links for everything I've mentioned are below in the show notes. If you enjoyed today's episode, please support this podcast by sharing it with some book nerd friends or on your favorite social media space. That would really help me out, and I appreciate you for doing so. Join me on Patreon for exclusive Shelf Addiction content, including video, podcast, and after shows, special features, and more. So if you're interested in that, you'll need to hop on over to Patreon and sign up today. Let's jump into today's topic. Hey everyone, I am back with part 2 of this story, so you have me alone for another solo episode today. So the second part of this series, I am sharing the process of how I sorted my books, and I'm also sharing 7 ways to unload the books once you sort them out and keep what you want, and we're discarding what you don't want. Again, the goal of this is to, you pick a size of how much shelf space you want. If you have 1 shelf or 3 shelves or 5 shelves, or if you have short shelves or floor to ceiling shelves, whatever your library situation looks like, you determine that, and then you decide how much of it you're going to fill, how much you want to leave for open space for new books. And this is going to help you get rid of the excess. Like I mentioned in the last episode, I had books stacked on tables, stacked on top of the shelves, stacked in front of the shelves, and books in the basement, and books in my office. I just had a surplus of books everywhere. And I wanted to get that down to where I had just enough books for my shelf with some wiggle room, when and if I decide to add more. So how did I do that? I started with 2 boxes, believe it or not. The boxes that were already boxed and 2 empty boxes. 1 box is for what you'd consider popular reads to your people. And by your people, I mean your friends, your book club members, people that you think would enjoy the books. That goes in that box. And then your other box is everything else. So first I went through all of my shelves and took all the books off the shelf. I took all the books off the tabletops and counters and wherever else they were stacked, and I went through them. I didn't do it all at once, but I did do it, a couple shelves at a time, a couple, stacks at a time, so that I didn't get overwhelmed. So what I did was I immediately made quick assessments. So I'd have a stack of books and I'd say, yes, I read this and loved it, and I can see myself reading it again or loaning it to others. If that was the case, I kept it. I also assessed, no, I did not read it. I'm not going to read it. So that was Part 2, you know where that goes. And the third assessment is really, I read this book. Did I like it? Meh, yes, no. Will I ever read it again? Will I ever recommend it to someone? So the latter two are the giveaway books. I haven't read it, I'm not going to, or I read it and I have no desire to reread it or share it with anyone. Those go into the giveaway boxes. So from there, you have a pile of books that you know you're giving away, and then you have some books that you are putting back on your shelf. Once you've put those back on the shelf, move on to the next shelf, move on to the next spot, etc., etc. Now, once you've determined what you're giving away, what you need to do is split them into 2 bins, 2 boxes. These are ones that I know someone in my life will enjoy, or these are popular books or popular authors. You put them in there, and then you put the others in the other box. The secondary box we're going to put to the side. You may end up with many secondary boxes and many first round boxes, depending on how many books you have. But we're going to put those secondary boxes to the side. We're not even going to worry about them. They're filled, they're closed. We're going to leave them to the side for now. So with the first box, or box is, what you're going to do is I'm going to tell you how to get rid of those first, and then I'm going to tell you what to do with the secondary boxes. Okay, let's go. With the first set of boxes, these are your popular books, your books you know that you have friends or family or, book bloggers that would enjoy popular books. What you're going to do with those is you're going to bring a box to book club. So if you're a member of many book clubs like me, I'd bring a different box to each book club. And I'd say, hey guys, I have some books. Take a look. If there's something you want, take it. If there's more than one, take it. Take as many as you like. I have done this before and it was extremely successful. People love books, especially because my books are brand new or like brand new condition. I treat my books very well when I read them. And like I said, most of them I've read once or not at all, the ones in my giveaway bins. So that is the first thing you can do. So a side note to that is if you're not in many book clubs or you've done that and you still have a ton of books left, you can have a book swap party with, people that may not be in your book clubs, but like to read, coworkers, family, friends, those kind of people. And when you have the swap, they can choose to bring books or not, or you can just have a party and then have like a really cute setup in the corner with like all your books. And you say, hey guys, I'm giving away some books. Feel free to take whatever you like. I've done that with great success as well. I had books in a basket and I put it in the center of, my spread. And I said, hey guys, I have some great books. Feel like you want to read some of these or one of these? Take them, please. And it worked like a dream. Of course, people want free books. Well, who wouldn't? So step 2, after you have offered these to friends and family and your book club and, your coworkers and whoever else in your circle you think may enjoy these books, you offer them to other book influencers, especially the ARCs. If they are more recent ARCs, you can give them away to other influencers, and I know they will appreciate that. You can find that by, either your circle you already communicate with on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, or you can find swap groups on Instagram and Facebook. I'm sure they have them on Twitter as well. So you just go in and say, hey, I have these books available. Anyone want it? And a lot of the time you just do have to pay for shipping. Sometimes, depending on the group rules, they may pay for shipping, but that's a great way to get rid of advanced readers copies because other book influencers will know how to treat an ARC, right? They know it's not the finished copy. They know there may be errors, etc. So that is who I recommend the advanced readers copies, and of course, all of the books that you have remaining. So one other thing you can do while you're doing the swap groups, you can also list these popular books on Paperback Swap. I would not put advanced readers copies on here, only finished copies. But Paperback Swap is essentially a book swap site, just like the groups. You send people books that they want and you pay the shipping, but you get a credit for that. So you can then later maybe if you're trying to fill in a collection or you're looking for something specific, you can then later go on there and find new or like new books, and you would use the credits that you have accumulated by shipping people free books toward your books. So I really like that because it's a give and take kind of platform. And I have used that to fill in gaps in series. And I've been able to do it finding the correct editions and everything. So the best part about Paperback Swap is you can recommend, hey, I want this book from a smoke-free, pet-free home. And that's what you'll get. And same when you are listing, you say if you have pets or if you smoke or, neither. And then that way people will say, oh, yes, I want that book. You send it out. You get your credit. Then you later use that credit to get something else. So I love that. So after you're done with those, you have all these boxes or a few boxes left of, your round 2 books and then your first choice books. And those are, after that, what's left, you just pack up in your car and you ship them off. And where do you ship them off? Well, I definitely recommend calling places first before you go, especially right now. Some places aren't taking books, because of the pandemic, but some places are. So first, I would check with women's and children's shelters. They are always open to receiving books, usually, in anti-COVID times, but just check, I know they would be happy to receive some of them, maybe not all of them. Second, I would go to charity shops. Okay, I would do that. And then after that, I would go to charity bookshops and secondhand shops. And that way, you can give them away or you can get a few dollars or something for it. And then after that, I would go to my local library and I would give them what was remaining. And for me personally, my library has not been accepting books for a long time in this pandemic. So that is why they are last on the list. If you have books left, I would really try to get rid of them with a local library. And it may not be in your city. You may have to call a couple different cities and see who is accepting them. But hopefully you'll find someone. And if not, and you still have boxes left, that's fine. Just tuck them in a corner for post-pandemic. And then you can take those boxes directly to the library once they start accepting books again. So last and final thing, for those ARCs you could not find a home for, those advanced readers copies, I think they need to hit the recycling bin. I know that publishers really don't want ARCs floating in the general public. I know that stores can't sell ARCs. So those, charity shops and things like that, they don't want ARCs. Your public library does not want advanced readers copies. So unfortunately, if you weren't able to find a home for them at this point, I think you're just going to have to recycle them. That's the best I got. So if you know another way to get rid of ARCs outside of the ways that I've mentioned, let me know. So again, family, friends, other book nerds, book influencers, that is where I try to get rid of the ARCs first. And then after that, if I can't find anyone to take them, I will recycle them because, they can't sell them. There's nothing they can do with advanced readers copies. So that's it for today. I have shared with you how I sorted my books and what I did with the books after I cleaned up my shelves and they are nice and pretty now. If you have any suggestions that I didn't mention here today, please reach out to me and share them because I would love more ideas on how to discard books in a proper way. I really hate throwing books in the trash. I don't like doing that at all. So any way that you may know that I haven't thought of, please share it with me. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Shelf Addiction and of course inside Shelf Addiction Official. One more thing before you go, guys, I recently set up a Shelf Addiction book club on bookclubs.com. That is bookclubs with a Z.com. This is perfect for those of you that are not into Facebook at all. You can join the book club and still get invited to virtual book club meetings online. So that way you'll get the Zoom links. You can still participate with me and my other book loving co-host, but you don't have to be on Facebook. I thought this was imperative because like me, I know a lot of others are shying away from Facebook nowadays. So I wanted to make another space for you to be a part of the group without having to be on Facebook. So check out book clubs with a Z, book clubs online, and they actually have an Android and an iPhone app. So sign up, join the club. The link is in the show notes. If you are listening to the sound of my voice right now, I appreciate you for listening to the entire episode. That means a lot to me. That is it for today. Until next time, happy reading and take care of yourselves. Bye, guys. If you enjoyed today's episode and would like to show your support, there are a few things you can do. Head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave a positive 5-star review, or like this episode on your favorite podcast player. It seems so simple, but it really helps me out. You can share this podcast with other book nerd friends or on your favorite social media space. You can also join the Shelf Addiction Patreon family. For as little as $2 a month, you will help us produce even more awesome content for your ears. You can also consider joining the Shelf Addiction Official Facebook group, where we talk all things bookish and more in a safe space. The Shelf Addiction Podcast is a part of the Nerdy Maven Network. You can also reach us via email at info@shelfaddiction.com. Thank you for listening.
Switching to Geico is a good idea, especially when you consider everything.
First off, Geico makes it easy to switch. They have licensed agents available 24/7 online or over the phone.
But if it's so easy, you might start thinking everything is easy, even big wave surfing. And it's not. It's actually quite difficult.
Well, if you switch to Geico, you could save hundreds on car insurance. And you could keep saving by bundling your motorcycle, boat, and RV, plus your home or renter's insurance.
But saving money might lead you to make some questionable purchases, like a 20-foot feather boa. And do you know how hard it is to clean a 20-foot feather boa?
Well, they do have an industry-leading mobile app you can use to pay your bill, file and manage a claim, or add a new driver.
But when life gets a little easier, it makes you too confident, and you start calling everyone Ace. And you're better than that.
Well, Geico has a 97% customer satisfaction rating and has been saving people money for 85 years. It's hard to beat that.
But you're right.
Switch to Geico. It's obviously a good idea. Switching to Geico is a good idea, especially when you consider everything.
First off, Geico makes it easy to switch. They have licensed agents available 24/7 online or over the phone.
But if it's so easy, you might start thinking everything is easy, even big wave surfing. And it's not. It's actually quite difficult.
Well, if you switch to Geico, you could save hundreds on car insurance. And you could keep saving by bundling your motorcycle, boat, and RV, plus your home or renter's insurance.
But saving money might lead you to make some questionable purchases, like a 20-foot feather boa. And do you know how hard it is to clean a 20-foot feather boa?
Well, they do have an industry-leading mobile app you can use to pay your bill, file and manage a claim, or add a new driver.
But when life gets a little easier, it makes you too confident, and you start calling everyone Ace. And you're better than that.
Well, Geico has a 97% customer satisfaction rating and has been saving people money for 85 years. It's hard to beat that.
But you're right.
Switch to Geico. It's obviously a good idea.